I don't look like that. I don't look like that. I don't look like that. Come on. Because you look tough. Don't mean you're tough. That was too easy. I didn't even take time.
Parry one. Let's hit it.
Ryan Garcia at his best is an explosive, lightning-fast, and highly skilled fighter, and watching him work in camp is always impressive. The current WBC Welterweight champion looks sharp and fully focused as he prepares for his massive Mexican Independence Day weekend showdown with Conor Benn.
My dumb ass put salt. Put fucking soap in my head. Now it's soap. Okay. No, not really. Hey, Dad, you got a towel? Yeah, we're going to bring it. All right, tell us three minutes. Oh, one second. Let me just get it Ryan. That was light words. Ryan, yeah. No, that's all right. Oh, okay. We'll do it. We go harder. That felt like 2 minutes. Was it 2?
Garcia has faced plenty of criticism in the past for questions surrounding his focus and consistency. However, the latest training footage appears to tell a completely different story. Across the ring, Conor Benn is preparing for perhaps the toughest challenge of his career. Facing a fighter whose incredible hand speed and devastating left hook can change a fight in an instant. Ben is putting in serious work of his own inside the gym. Every session is designed around As for Ryan, he has made it clear that he intends to take full advantage of the opportunity in front of him. Garcia will compete during Mexican Independence Day weekend, and his showdown with Ben at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas could become a defining moment in his career. Although Garcia already has a huge following among hardcore boxing fans and casual viewers, defeating Ben convincingly could push him even closer to becoming one of the sport's biggest global stars.
And you had the setback to Rolly Romero last year. You had almost a year off. Now you're coming off of a dominant victory over Mario Barrios.
Yes.
It seems like right now you're on the track that everyone always had for Ryan Garcia, and you're almost there, but you have to score a big win over Conor Benn. And it feels like to me, if you get that big win, then you're like on the rocket ship. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say that I have a clear opportunity to take over the sport for this fight. Me fighting on Mexican Independence weekend. Everybody behind me, and the type of opponent I have, it could really change my life. And I mean, my life is already super blessed, but this would take me so far that people cannot catch up.
No, I agree, because look, you've been on this stage before, and you've been on the biggest stage possible. You fought Gervonta Davis, but let's be real. I'm not just saying this, but it wasn't on even terms for you.
Yeah.
You fought at 136 pounds, right? You're a big guy. You're fighting at 47 now, and even then, you're still big for the division. And there was a rehydration clause, so it feels like this is kind of like a second chance in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that right there was during my adolescence. That was me, being a little too overambitious in that opportunity. But here's the thing, that decision helped, propel boxing forward,
It did.
Yeah. And, I don't really regret it. I think I did rush into that decision, and I didn't really think my way through it. But, things happen for a reason at times. And, it just made my path go a little different way on to how I got to this point. So it's okay, Gervonta Davis had a clear chance to take over the sport after that and did not. And now it's my turn, and I'm going to make sure that I take full advantage of this opportunity, make a statement come September 12th, and really cement myself as the next cash cow and for boxing.
Ben, meanwhile, appears completely unfazed by Garcia's reputation. The British contender has studied Ryan carefully and understands the enormous challenge standing in front of him. However, he believes one of Garcia's biggest weaknesses could eventually appear, giving him the opening he needs to change the entire fight. Ben has admitted that this training camp has been extremely demanding as he prepares for the difficult weight cut. His goal is simple: win the WBC title, and then move away from the welterweight division. Ben believes his biggest advantage could be Garcia's mentality. He has questioned Ryan's ability to remain composed when the pressure becomes intense, and believes constant forward pressure could eventually force Garcia into uncomfortable situations.
Do you think there's a way where you can question his heart, or people can question his heart because of the way that the Tank fights and the Rolly fights went?
Did he quit?
Do you think he's a quitter, I guess?
Did he quit? As a fighter, I can say he did.
Yeah.
With Rolly, did he go in his shell once he got clipped? So he did. And that's our DNA is just different. Our makeup's completely different. I'm a guy swinging, and I'm a guy on my shield always. you know, I'll stand there and have it with you.
When you see him finish fights like that, does that give you confidence when you talk about yourself putting in 110%?
No, I mean, I just like I don't think about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just focus on being the best fighter I can be, making sure that I'm in the best nick when I go into the fight, and when I see an opportunity to knock him out, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. Okay. And then the final one for myself. Obviously, a lot of people sort of talking about yourself making 147 again. I guess from your camp, the weight come off nicely.
It's hard. It's brutal. This is my last fight at 147.
Your last fight, what?
This is my last fight at 147. Okay. When I win the world title, I'll move on. But for me, I haven't made 147 for 4 years, so it's challenging. Don't get me wrong, it's really hard. You think I went up to 183 pounds for the Eubank fights, you know, so it's hard, but you know, we're getting it done.
Yeah. So after this fight, we'll be going up to 154 pounds then?
154, 160, 168.
Okay.
The wider boxing community, however, remains heavily on Garcia's side heading into September 12th. Former champion Keith Thurman has also shared his thoughts, although he admits he still has questions about exactly how good Benn can be at this level. Thurman has described Benn as a physically impressive fighter who has developed significant strength, but he questions whether his technical ability and boxing intelligence have reached the elite level. At the same time, Thurman refuses to overlook the danger Benn presents, comparing his physical approach to a powerful charging force. Even without perfect technique, a physically imposing fighter can create serious problems once the pressure starts.
Yeah, it's interesting. I still don't know what to think too much about Conor Benn. You know, he reminds me of like just those guys at the gym that are a little bit like bodybuilder boxers, you know, like they're just shredded, you know, like they train hard, they got the physique, and they're rough and tough, but where exactly is his IQ, you know? Where exactly
where's the skills? Where's the technique?
Yeah, you know, so it's interesting though, because, you know, I mean, a rhino ain't nothing but a charging bull full of muscle, you know what I mean? And I'm still scared of rhinos, you know, so like, it's not that it's not that it's a guaranteed loss for a fighter of that type of caliber, right? It's not a guaranteed loss, but at the highest level, you will run into skillful opposition, you know, and but it's going to be interesting, you know.
When discussing Garcia, Thurman believes a version of Ryan seen in some of his earlier losses does not represent his true ability. He feels the more recent version of Garcia is much closer to the fighter he always had the potential to become. Thurman sees this matchup as a major opportunity for Ryan to display his improvements, showcase his skills, and establish himself as one of the leading fighters in the welterweight division.
I don't think that the Ryan that fought Rolly was the real Ryan. I think the Ryan we saw last time was more close to the real Ryan. I still think he can improve if he wants to be a dominant factor at 147. And I think this rough, tough opposition is a great way to showcase his skills and talent if he wants to, you know, try to be the man at 147 again and reestablish, you know, his superiority over the division, because styles makes fights. And like you said, this opponent has fought bigger guys, and he's a very physical fighter, very strong, trains really hard. He's going to come to push Ryan. I saw a small comment from Andre Ward, who thinks that, you know, this could be a big challenge for Ryan stylistically as the pressure goes on. So, yeah, Ryan just has to take this fight serious. It's all about the camp, all about the preparation. You know, they're both very cocky people. You know, both young, cocky fighters. Got a lot to say. But yeah, fight night. It's a great matchup. I think the fans are going to really like it, and I think Ryan has an opportunity to, you know, to really showcase his skills and kind of put him back to where he was before the PED incident.
Thurman also pointed out that Garcia has made noticeable improvements since his previous setbacks, changing not only his mindset, but also certain aspects of his boxing style. His left hook remains one of his most dangerous weapons and is capable of hurting virtually anyone. But Ryan has also started incorporating his right hand more effectively, something that was particularly noticeable against Mario Barrios. That added dimension makes Garcia considerably harder to predict. Thurman believed the outcome could ultimately depend on which fighter has the better preparation. Garcia has not dealt with this type of relentless pressure in quite some time, meaning he cannot afford to underestimate the challenge Ben presents.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of fans, I want to say, are picking Ryan to win, and they feel like at some point he'll catch Conor coming in. Conor, does lunge in, and like you said, a Rhino can still hurt you. A gore's a gore, right? Pressure style from Conor Benn. Also, it's been a while since we've seen Ryan face a pressure type fighter. Off the top of my head, I think the last one was Oscar Duarte, and Duarte had some good moments in that fight, but him having fought bigger guys, does that necessarily mean he'll be able to take Ryan's punches and last 12 rounds?
We'll see, man, because, a left hook is still a left hook. Ryan does have that left hook. I mean, Tank said, all you got is that left hook. That's what Tank said back in the day. All you got is that left hook, But we've seen Ryan drop people not just with left hooks to the chin, but left hooks to the body. And I think he landed a straight right on Mario Barrios early on in the last fight.
Yeah.
So maybe he's learning to develop that hand to be a lethal weapon as well. What I love about these younger guys is as they continue to fight, they really have that room to improve. And it's up to them to prove to the world, to us, to the spectators. Like I mentioned earlier, boxing is a spectator sport. So it's easy to say, oh, he's this, he's that, oh, this, that. But we're going off of what we have seen. It's up for the athlete to show the world something new. And that goes for Conor Benn too. Being at 147, what if he's not just forcing his body to make it down to this weight? What if he can find himself in the prime condition of his life? What if he finds all this weight loss was able to, let him be optimal for his real frame and be back at 147? So
no, I think he said in an interview,
potential.
He's going up to 54 after this. I think he's already made up his mind, which you might be see dollar signs there, Keith, if he's at 54.
Well, let's make it happen, baby.
Benn's announcement that this could be his final fight at welterweight has also generated plenty of debate. Some critics believe the British fighter is already preparing excuses for the difficult weight cut. But moving down from heavier divisions is a serious challenge, particularly when a fighter has spent years competing at a larger weight. Thurman understands those difficulties from his own experiences with major weight cuts and has emphasized that getting down safely requires careful planning and discipline rather than simply try to lose weight at the last moment.
Say then, if a fighter's already saying with 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, saying I'm going to move up to 54, what does that signal to you as a fighter? Like, oh, he's not going to make the weight, he's going to have trouble in the fight.
There could be some challenges. Like I remember when I had to fight Pacquiao, right? I had a big cut for that camp, man. It was one of the most extreme cuts of my career. And it was doable. But when I tell you I was on a keto diet, I think you could count the carbs on, with both hands, you could count how many carbs I was eating. You know what I'm saying? I was on a high, fat, very low carbohydrate diet. And I just had to do that to get the weight off in time. I started camp at 182.
Oh, wow.
And I got down to 147 in 11 weeks, 11 and a half weeks, some number like that. I don't know. So, it's mathematically.
Dang, that's 36 pounds. You got to get more than 36
It was
right?
35. Yeah, 35. It was like a 35-pound cut. Yeah, it was not fun, And I ate too much after making weigh-ins, and I think that made me sluggish in the fight. So if there's anything I would take back, it would be my off-season weight management leading up to that fight. There's other things I could take back too. There's things I could have done in it's camp. There's a few other little things, but the fight was already such a close fight. So if there's any little thing that the pressure I put on my body to make that fight happen, and then my lack of discipline the night before by eating a burger late night after already having dinner, and I'll tell you, man, the bathroom the next morning, bro, my stomach was I stuffed myself, bro. You don't need to do yourself like that before the fight. So
Thurman has also studied Benn's current physical condition and believes the British fighter has taken a calculated approach by gradually moving back toward the welterweight limit. However, he has pointed out that Benn carries considerable muscle after years of strength-focused training. When a fighter is already extremely lean, reducing weight further can become increasingly difficult. Thurman believes that the final stages of the cut could affect Benn's energy and performance, although he would welcome the fighter moving up to super welterweight afterward.
So maybe then, Ryan really has to press the action then if there is trouble getting down to 47, and that might manifest itself maybe midway through the fight as just the cut, the body just can't handle all that.
I mean, like you said, he fought. What did he fight at when he
against
moved up?
Prograis? Well, he fought Prograis. I think it was at a catchweight. And then
that was at a catchweight.
Yeah, and then the two Chris Eubank fights were, I believe, at I want to say 160 because they made Eubank come down.
Yeah, I think 160.
Yeah, Eubank was pissed about
160.
Yeah, the rehydration clause. Eubank was not happy about that.
Yeah, I mean they made their little celebrity fight happen over there for them boys, and sometimes to make the fight happen, you got to sacrifice whatever's written in that contract, baby. But yeah, Conor, I think just being at that heavy and then fighting at the catch weight, I think he was at least smart to slowly work his way back down to 147. But either he doesn't have the discipline or his body, he's just so bulky, because I'm pretty sure that he does a lot of strength training. So I'm pretty sure at 160, he put on muscle, and now he's got to find a way to lean back out.
I think he just can't. He's shredded
exactly.
as is.
There's so
no
much.
Fat
exactly. There's no fat. It's all this muscle.
That's dangerous because then that's all liquid, and you got water in your brain. How are you going to take those punches the night of the fight?
Once upon a time, he had too many eggs. Once upon a time in his career, I remember. He had too many eggs, and So at the end of the day, man, he's a bulky kid. But yeah, this will be a good fight, and I'll be happy to greet him at 154.
The weight issue remains one of the biggest storylines surrounding this matchup. While some analysts consider the cut a major risk, others are far less concerned. British promoter Frank Warren has dismissed many of the concerns, arguing that Benn has an experienced team around him capable of determining whether the challenge is manageable. Regardless of the weight, Warren believes Garcia enters the fight with a significant advantage in experience and overall ability. He feels Benn could struggle to maintain the pace for all 12 rounds against a more polished fighter like Garcia, although he still acknowledges that an upset is possible.
Yeah, we're talking about smaller guys and making weight. Conor Benn is fighting Ryan Garcia September the 12th. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the fight itself and Conor boxing down at 147?
Look, he's got people around him, and if he can't make that weight, he should be fighting.
Yeah.
So the people around him are there to look after him.
Yeah.
To ensure that he's okay. And they feel that it's right, then they're with him every day. So they should know. The border control, I'm sure, would do their check weights.
How does it work though? Like with the sanctioning bodies, when Conor Benn was at 147, was made mandatory challenge, but hadn't boxed there for like 3 or 4 years. He hadn't boxed at that weight.
I don't know. I don't know how that came about, but it's happened. And I generally don't know. I've not paid a lot of attention to it, quite honestly. Look, Conor, at this moment in time, for me, he's a big underdog in the fight.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd do his best and he'd fight his best, but I mean, you've got to make Garcia a massive favourite.
Yeah, but it's the known against the unknown, isn't it? Conor's not boxed at that level, and just
yeah, but I mean, Conor's not boxed at a high level.
Yeah,
yet.
that's what I'm saying.
He's fought Chris Eubanks Jr., 36 years old, whatever he is.
Yeah.
He's never done it at all.
Yeah.
At the top.
Ben enters this fight as a significant underdog, and many analysts believe Garcia should be expected to control the contest. Some have questioned why Ben accepted such a difficult assignment, suggesting that the enormous attention surrounding the fight was simply too attractive to turn down. From their perspective, Ben and his team understand the risks involved in facing a fast and dangerous opponent like Garcia while making such a demanding move back toward welterweight.
I think that Conor Benn and his team, they know this fight. Ryan Garcia, if Ryan Garcia turns up like he's did against, and I know you can say what you want to say about the Devin Haney fight, but if their Ryan Garcia turns up, and sometimes he doesn't, but if their Ryan Garcia turns up, he knocks Conor Benn out. Doesn't just be he knocks him out. Simple as. Because Ryan Garcia is way better, way faster, just way better in every department than Conor Benn is, in my opinion. The only thing Conor Benn would have over him is size, but if he's struggling to make the weight, well then the size really doesn't become a factor, because you might have the weight over him, but if you're as weak as anything, if a feather could knock you over, well what good is the size then, So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. Conor Benn looking in phenomenal shape, but mentioning how hard it is to make this, well, that's not good. You don't want to be doing that, and that doesn't exactly fill you with confidence a month out from the fight. It's not going to get any easier. It's only going to get harder, in particular fight week.
That is what makes this matchup one of the most intriguing fights of the year. There are huge stakes, massive attention, and the possibility of a dramatic upset. Garcia has the speed, power, and experience to make a statement. But Ben has the opportunity to shock the boxing world and completely change the trajectory of his career. So what do you think? Will Ryan Garcia stop Conor Benn? Or could Ben pull off one of the biggest upsets in recent boxing history? Let me know your prediction in the comments. That's all for today. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.